Yeah, first, I'm saying all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai Bashim Gakadash. Get double honor to this Boston teacher, great meals, no from learn the truth, not to show one to the whole collective Israel. And we're gonna center this on this clown here who is bragging and boasting about I guess it's clothes. I'm just gonna play a little bit of it.
Deal. Yeah. You know, you got upper echelon upscale gorilla today. You feel me? It's upscale gorilla today. Y'all see how I'm coming? Huh? Huh? Y'all see how I'm stepping? Hold on. Get the shoes. Yeah. This how I'm coming today. Y'all niggas, y'all thought I couldn't switch. Y'all thought I wasn't versatile? You thought I couldn't? Feel me? Huh? Yeah, I did that though. Get them likes up. What you talking about? Yeah. He said, look, I'm gonna walk you through the LVC and put in some work.
All right. Well, this is really silly because with everything that's going on, nothing wrong with making some money, right? But we all know how this guy got his money. You know, he made merchandise of the truth. And this is for a worldly nigga, this is the best time to be alive because now more so than ever, there's more ways to make money than ever. But it's also one of the worst times to be alive because you have judgment right around the corner. But it's also the best time to be alive. If you're a prophet, if you're seeking the Lord, because this is the last time of our being in captivity and in punishment. And we're approaching a time where we could see our desire upon our enemies. But on the other side, you have everybody else who is quite literally just they have their death pending. And it seems sweet now and all, but the guy, I'm guessing, guy is a little bit well off and all, but he got that on the ass, and really he got this in the worst time that he possibly could. And you have a ton of other niggas falling out and stuff, but it's the worst time that you could actually do that because this is quite literally the last leg of our captivity. But it's also going to be the worst ending that any nation has ever had on this earth. If that makes sense. So it's all laughing and giggles and gloating now, but was I saying laugh now and die later? That's 1 John 2:19, 18. 15. Love not the world, neither things that are in the world. If any man love the world, love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away. And that's the point. All of this has a time limit. It has an end. Once again, it may seem like there's a lot of different perks to being a snake nigga. There's a lot of perks that you get. And it seems sweet, seems you're on top of the world. But as you can currently see, all of that shit is going to end. It doesn't matter how well you've established yourself. All that shit is coming to an end. But niggas in the world, this is all they have. So obviously they're going to go all in with it. But we look forward towards something better, and it just so happens that we happen to be on the correct side. We're willing to say that way. Verse 17, the world passed away and the lust thereof, and he that doeth the will of Yahweh abideth forever. Did I skip one? No. Punctuation is the last time, as ye have heard, that the anti-Mashiach shall come. Even now are there many anti-Mashiach, whereby we know there is the last time. And anti-Mashiach just means anti-Yahushai, anti-Messiah, anti-Yahweh Shem Shai, being against the Lord. It says, is that last time. This is the last of the last days. People may make jokes about that, but that's just how it is. All of this gloating, there's no point to it. Because how did it say it? It said, well, Moses would rather suffer than his people. I know it was with that. It said he rather suffer than his people than rule. But this isn't Maccabees. I know it's in 6. So it might be 6:25. 24, for cometh not our age, said he. This is Eleazar when he was told to eat pork, and he said no. During the Maccabees, Antiochus, he said no, and they told him to eat, something lawful, and pretend just to convince the other Israelites through that example to do the same thing. He said, "Fuck that," But you have a lot of our people doing the same thing, taking the bag or selling out and leading all of those that follow them to their fucking deaths. Which is why you have scriptures that mention how those that knew the truth are going to be punished a lot worse than those who didn't, if they pull back, or if they fall out. Verse 24. From cometh not our age, said he, in any way to disassemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, were now gone to a strange religion, and so they, through mine hypocrisy and desire to live a little time in the moment longer, should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to my old age and make it abominable. For though the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape from the hand of Almighty, neither alive nor dead. And he said fuck that, and he willingly went to to his death. But this is just an example of a choice to either sell out or to not sell out. And the point I want to get here is with verse 25. It says, and desire to live a little time and a moment longer. And that mindset of turning your back on the truth, even knowing, it's one thing if you may have heard it on internet or on the streets, you're still marked either way. And you just walk past. It's also it's another thing completely when you spent years in the truth, over a decade, doing all sorts of heinous hooligan activity behind the scenes. Not only that, but also talking all types of shit to the Heavenly Father's men that you learn from, self-admittedly, and also made money off of the truth. That's a whole different level of ass kicking that you have waiting for you. And all this happened because he didn't want to stop getting his. You can only imagine what he's doing now. And all this because the nigga got outed because he was getting his damn butt blasted by his woman. Was using and really not, it was something else that happened before that he didn't. I think it was 1,000-year shit that he said that he didn't want to receive correction, and then he didn't want to receive correction on that, so Lord hit him with something harder than that. You've been getting blasted, and now the guy threw a little tantrum and he fell out. So he didn't want to see, and even before that, he's talking shit for 10 years. He didn't want to see correction on certain things, and now this is him falling out. It seems sweet, but the Lord has something laid up for him worse than if he would have not have known the truth, if he wouldn't have been in the truth. And that's an example. Because the guy, he has money, he has clothes, and this is just an example. There's plenty of our people that feel the same way. They feel that there's no point in serving the Lord because they're not getting money, because they're not getting their immediate needs met. Which, if you want to get technical, the Lord will take care of His people. You may not be walking around rich with heavy ass chains around your neck, but you're not going to be out here on the damn street in fucking 10-degree weather, snow piled down on your ass, fucking begging for money on the goddamn street. First John 2:19. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out, that they might be made manifest that they are not all of us. And they mention, once again, you have all these niggas that are eventually, they're falling out. And now there's one more I wanted to get. Perdition. Because, like I said earlier, this is the worst time ever imaginable to actually fall out. Because this is the last chance you're going to get. And our people, just reading through the scriptures of different types of things the Lord did to our people with punishments. Our people have greatly underestimated and grossly forgotten the terror of Yahweh Shana Shah, what he can do. Transatlantic slave trade should be a prime fucking example. Having completely forgot who we are. And imagine if we were still under heavy bondage like that in Esau's technologically advanced society. Imagine if you still had that spirit on them with all these new types of fucking inventions. But the Lord put that in them. And you see now with fucking government agents murdering people, and then justifying it for whatever fucking reason. That's not even the tip of the iceberg. That's not even the surface of the surface of what they want to do to the people and to Jake. Because if they're doing that to the Edomite, what the fuck do you think they're going to do to Jake? And the only defense against that is the Lord. So that nigga then pretty much, what scripture said, if you're not forsaking me, but if you are forsaking your own selves. He think he's moving on from the truth and going to something better. But in reality, he just tied the fucking noose around his neck. But it's not showing yet because he seems to be doing good. He seems to be flossing and whatnot. But what matters is the end result. What's going to be the result of all the work that you're doing. Hebrews 10:39. And you actually had the other Manat Zagba that made a video last week about another elder that had actually fell out because he's going from, I don't know the fucking details. He went a little bit into it, but there's a ton of fucking problems going on. And I forgot where he's from. But I remember when I first came to Truth, he was one of the elders that I watched a fair amount. And that was shocking. A lot of things don't really shock me, but that was shocking because I think he said himself, you wouldn't have thought somebody like him who was diligent would fall out of the truth. But then that's just a wake up call and a reality check. Hebrews 10:39, 38. 35. Cast not away therefore your confidence, which hath great recompense of reward, for ye have need of patience. After ye have done the will of Yahweh, you might receive the promise. Salvation, the kingdom, but right now, obviously, all Israel is going to get the kingdom. That's the goal. But right now, we're seeking, salvation to not get caught up in the crazy shit that's going to be going on in Jacob's trouble. Not get fucking all the types of that's another thing. All the type that's the thing that you got to constantly keep in mind because it's happening every fucking day. You know, every day Lord is delivering judgment. Fear is necessary. Fear keeps one alive. Fear isn't bad. If you're walking in the neighborhood and you see a couple of niggas eyeing you, that fear is going to move you to cross the damn street to preserve your life. Similar thing with the Lord. You know, the fear of what He can do to you is going to motivate you to continue moving forward correctly. Fear isn't bad. It keeps you alert, so you don't fall asleep. With the majority of our people, they don't have a healthy amount of fear. Hell, even you got fighters that talk about how they're scared going into fights and wars and shit like that. But I've never heard of anybody who's like a fighter or a warrior or whatnot say anything about fear being a bad thing. I've never heard of it. I'm sure some of them may have, but having healthy fear, not spazzing the fuck out. Where was I? Now, verse 38. Now, you shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in them. And, once again, that's the thing. All these niggas they're living high now, but what's going to happen later? Just like with the American economy, right? And that's actually a good point. The American economy, because there's a financial guy that I listened to, and he talks about how the 2008 bailout was the last. You had this whole credit system that will work in Americans' favor. You have all these different buy now, pay later methods. You have all these different things, these bills that help bail out people out of fucking debt or out of fucked up financial situations that seemingly on the surface helped people. The stimulus checks, right? That seemingly bailed a lot of people out, which $1,200 is less than a lot of niggas' rent. But that seemingly bailed a lot of people out and helped them. And all those PPP loans, right? It was all good when people weren't getting money, when the economy was good. But when all of those good times passed, and now you arrived at that inevitable end. You arrived at now the result of all of that. You passed all of that good, and now the result of all of that good, all that so-called good, is a fucked up economy. Niggas losing fucking jobs. Niggas can't find jobs. Whores selling what they have between their legs because they can't get jobs or their jobs aren't bringing in enough. You got a lot of women who are on OnlyFans who aren't making any money. They're still putting up videos, but they're not making enough money. You have a lot of, another example is sexual promiscuity, right? For some reason, you've had a lot of older chicks talk about how they want a good man. Now, after all of that fun that they had in their younger years, now they had to arrive at that inevitable older age. All of that fun is behind them, and now they have to deal with the reality that they're going to die alone and broke, and nobody wants to deal with them. All of that fun, all of this money that these niggas are getting, it's fun and it's great in the moment. But what's going to come later? That's the point. What's going to come after all of that fun passes? And that's something that, that's something to think about. Sure, you living it up now. You're taking airplanes. You got fucking billions of fucking flyer miles and points, whatnot. You get into all these VIP sections. You're collabing with all these different people, but all of that has to end, and eventually you'll have to arrive at that former future, which is now your present. And what lies in the future? Straight up judgment and ass kicking. Hope that made sense. And like you had seers and prophets which what saw into the future and hedged themselves the best way they could against that by aligning themselves with the Lord, because that future, no matter what you did, it was going to arrive. You know, all the times our people went in captivity, but you had niggas that try to say we weren't going into captivity to try to have fun and live it up. That future eventually arrived. Those prophecies eventually came to pass. All of that fun, all of that shit, all of that money, it was put behind them now. Now they had to deal with that present reality. It's the same thing with Jacob's trouble. All you people who are, niggas who are, fell out the truth or talking shit, it's good now, but you're all eventually going to have to deal with that reality once it becomes your present. And we all know, we've all had different instances in our lives where we've had that moment where our stomach dropped, where we was like, may have gotten ourselves to a situation, it may have been greater or smaller, where we was like, oh shit, what am I going to fucking do? Or maybe not. You may have seen somebody in that situation, back up against the fucking wall, up shit's creek without a paddle or a fucking boat, and they can't swim. And they just have to sit there, and they have to be stuck, and they have to go through it. That's how it's gonna go down in Jacob's trouble. All of that gloating, all of that loudmouth, it doesn't mean anything when your life is on the fucking line. None of it. That silver isn't gonna save you. Money isn't gonna save you. Those fancy clothes isn't gonna save you. Your eloquent speech isn't gonna save you when it comes down to why your fucking life is on the line. And that's the reality. It may seem grim, but look at the world that you're currently in. Look at who's over you. A nigga who's given free reign to his troopers to murder you people and justify it. That's the reality that you niggas are in. There's no good upside to this. All that good is behind you. You niggas now have to deal with your current reality. If you're prepared spiritually, then hey, Lord willing, you'll be good. If you prepare, like for example, financial wise, right? People will spend up all their damn money, the whole fucking moratoriums and whatnot, and now they're up shit's fucking creek. They don't have any money. They don't know what the fuck to do. They can't get a job. It was all good back then, but now them niggas have to deal with the present reality, and it's hell. Niggas breaking down, fucking y'all already see the videos all over social media. Same thing with the truth. You had the time to prepare, but you didn't want to do it. You couldn't see the vision. Or you ignored the vision. You didn't give a fuck about the vision. But verse 39, but we're not able to draw back into perdition, which means destruction. And why? Because when you leave the truth, if you want to get in, the Apostle Har had put up a video. It was an older video of him when he was younger. He was talking about pretty much, if I remember correctly, he was I believe he was in the truth for pretty much all his life, if I remember correctly. I know from the time when he was a young man, but I'm not sure the exact age. But he mentioned how if he leaves the truth, where is he gonna go? If you want to get technical, what is there to do in this world? I mean, once again, you got women, you got parties, you got all these different things, but all of that ends. What do you do then? You just live for the experience. And what do you do with that? Well, people just say YOLO. Oh well. But there's a way out of it, but they don't want to do that. And that's fine. More space on the chariot. But realistically speaking, when you leave the truth, what then? What do? You just live, like you live, and then what? Like there's nothing to look forward to in the future. Something about humanity is that something that keeps people going is something to look forward to in the future. Which is why you see so many people breaking down, because they don't see a future. They don't see their desired future here in America. So if you leave the truth, what do you have in the world? A fucked up economy? Sure, it's great if you didn't fucking made filthy lucre of the truth. Because he's bragging, but the money that he got was money that should I say stole? I'm not accusing him of legal theft or anything, but taking advantage of the congregation. Pretty much shit. Hope Zed finds all praises going out. How about Shema Shabbat Shabbat Dash? The one says, Pastor Teacher, Minister, True Shabbat to Hope like Israel Instruction Battle Great America.